Is he self-published or was it published? Published
I think it's a small company that publishes his books. So now we got to pick 3 numbers to see who's there. First one, number 1.
That's me.
All right, number 3. Scott.
Thank you.
And last one is number 5.
That's Steve.
All on this side.
Scott needs one.
Yeah, The Last Stage by Jim Cherry. It talks about a bored college graduate student and really getting nowhere with his studies. And he happens to run into a fella who used to play in this band called The Doors. And he meets him in real life, just brushes elbows with him. And it so moves him, all of a sudden he's like, well, I'm going to be the fella from The Doors, the lead singer, and I'm going to be that Jim Morrison. And he just becomes obsessed with this. And it's really quite a fantasy because he's never played an instrument or anything in music. But he goes to shows, sees a band playing, they're playing their own music, and pulls it to the side and says, let's become a Doors tribute band. And they have to pay the bills, they're not getting more, okay, we'll do it. And his name is Michael Gray, and he's really got connections in the business. So before they know it, this band is touring from Chicago to New Orleans, and they're playing. And he started out as a college student in Madison, and works his way all across the United States, and this band's getting more popular, they have reviews, it looks like the real newspapers writing about them. And finally they start working their way back to the West Coast. Now in the meantime, this guy's so obsessed with fame and fortune, he started to forget about his girlfriend and his past, and yelling at his family. And when things start going bad for him, when he becomes too drunk or something, all of a sudden he misses these things that he's turning his back on. So it's about a very complex character development, and sometimes this fellow really seems evil too. So I thought it was interesting. His name is Michael Gray, and then there was that picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Now Oscar Wilde was buried in the same cemetery where Jim Morrison, the singer from The Doors, was supposedly buried. So it's interesting they both have the same name. Dorian Gray is a portrait that stays alive forever as a young man. He becomes very corrupt, and that's how this fellow wants to stay alive forever, and he's becoming very corrupt. So they're working their way back to the last stage, and that's the Whiskey a Go-Go in Los Angeles, and that's where the Doors really had one of the most memorable concerts. So that's where it gets to the point, and then we'll see, is he going to become like Jim Morrison, or is he going to become like he was before, a more understanding fella? It's interesting, too, his relationships with women, too. When he's on this fast track, women are just like material objects to him. When things are really hard, you know, oh, I love you, this and that, he breaks down and becomes more emotional. And then finally, like we were saying, too, something about music, but this fellow, like, writes down a song at the beginning of the chapter, and you're supposed to have that song in your mind when you're reading the chapter, and it kind of gives it like a 3D effect. So I wouldn't have thought of that until the writer actually told me that that's how he writes. He's been writing like that for 20 years. And I think it's a good, fast-moving book, 200 pages, but it reads like a short story, pretty interesting character. And yeah, he told me to review it, so I did.
And you would recommend it?
I highly recommend it.